We are back for another episode of the TRFE Happy Hour.
Cheers.
Woo!
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Friday. It's like Friday for us.
I see you guys are jazzed. You guys are jazzed. I want to say that this guest, it's like, you know, when I first, people was like, yo, you got to meet this guy. And they're like, and I'm sure it's vice versa. And with all of us. And when we finally connected, it was like, oh yeah, this is family. Whatever, this is family. This is, you know what I'm saying? This guy's comfortable. And here we are a year later. And I guess, I mean, you know, graffiti artist, curator, salsa dancer, you know what I mean?
Cook, apparently.
Let's talk about low life. Like, you know, we can go on and on, but none other than Tame. Welcome. This is our family. This is our brother. So happy to have you here. Now we can cheers and shit, right? You know what I'm saying?
Cheers, y'all. Cheers.
Got a little sparkling water.
Hey.
I smoked my drink. So this is great, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like we can definitely dive in with the art, but I think I just watched an awesome movie yesterday. I watched 2 awesome movies yesterday. I want to start with, what was the last movie everybody saw on the call? What was the last movie everybody saw? Brand new.
Okay.
Soul. I just watched Soul.
Yeah,
I would have been fine too.
How was it?
I really liked it more than I thought I would, honestly.
I liked it. Yeah, I watched that with the kids the other day. That was a good one.
I saw that too as well.
Yeah, I like that one. So,
yeah, it was good. For me, I guess it was a little overrated for me just because of all the hype that I kept hearing myself. Like, it was just so much. Like, yo, Tame, you gotta see it. When I saw it, I'm like, I feel like it was such a good movie, but not Pixar quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I liked the message that I had in it. You know,
absolutely.
My man was chasing his dream. The whole time he finally got it, he was like, this ain't even what I thought it was gonna be, man.
Yeah.
Like,
told us the end, Mike. You just told us.
You ain't seeing it.
Yeah,
no,
Mike.
you know, probably just still enjoy it. Just go watch it.
He wasn't happy with the dream.
he was happy. He was happy, but his dream wasn't what he had hyped it up to be. Kind of like same way Tame said the movie was.
Okay.
Like it wasn't hyped up with it didn't pay off the way he thought it was gonna pay off. That's all.
All right. What was the last movie you saw?
New movie?
Yeah.
I ain't trying to throw shade at nothing.
Come on, man.
I don't know what the last new movie I watched was. Honestly, I haven't really watched anything since the holidays. The last thing I really remember watching is Die Hard.
Okay. That's an awesome Christmas movie.
Had you not seen it before?
Yo,
no, of course I had. But it had been a while since I watched it, like, you know, front to back. You know what I mean? It's been a while.
Yeah, newish.
All right. Well, I saw Die Hard in the theater. It was awesome. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was unexpected. You know what I'm saying? You didn't expect Bruce Willis to come on some shit like that. Yeah, I mean, he was cool. It was black people in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like that
didn't die.
Huh?
Can we just say that didn't
die?
Yeah, exactly.
Groundbreaking like a motherfucker.
2 black dudes didn't die at the end. You know what I'm saying? Actually, the hero, whatever. I don't want to get into that.
You're going to give away the end.
Yeah.
If you ain't see Die Hard, come on. Like, Alex, how about you?
Soul.
Oh, you said Soul.
Yeah.
Jason?
He was the first one to answer. Pay attention.
Oh, Tame, you can stay.
Yeah, like he's mad comfortable. He's like, in my middle square. I don't know where
we family. He said we family, right?
Hey,
you know, he right in the middle square, like mad comfortable.
Yeah,
taking shots at everybody.
Like it.
Word up.
I love it.
On our family movie thing, we recently saw, I'm trying to remember, I think it was called Over the Moon,
Okay.
a Japanese film. And it's this crazy story about this kid who like loses her mom. The mom dies, and then there's this myth that she always told her daughter about this woman who lives on the moon. So she like builds a spaceship, and it gets real trippy. She goes to the moon and finds her, and like a whole adventure ensues.
Is it
And was, like,
subtitles?
it was wild. No, it's English.
Oh, okay. All
That's
right.
awesome.
Okay.
Sounds like something.
Yo, did you see the Forrest Whitaker Christmas movie?
Oh man, I heard about that on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it was Forrest Whitaker, Felicia Rashad, and I'm not a Christmas movie guy, but my kids turned it on. I was like, oh shit, I ain't know Ghost Dog was in this.
This is the one
Watching
thing,
this
this is
joint?
my one thing with Forrest Whitaker, and I'm gonna ask you this. I feel like he cries in every movie. Did he cry?
I think he cried in this movie.
That's probably his signature.
Not what you paid for.
I
The
mean,
contract.
You can't have a Forrest Whitaker movie. You
Yeah, without him crying.
Cries in every movie.
It was a good movie. He played the toy
Even
maker.
that show he just had on.
I was just about to say that.
Cried in that.
Harlem,
Cried.
the Godfather of Harlem.
Oh,
He's crying in
like that,
jail.
but I don't
He's
have
crying
that-
out
I
of
don't have
jail.
that scene.
Like he's crying about his daughter. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
those
saying?
are like the most cinematic scenes and shit.
That's
Yeah.
what you pay for, I guess, for Forrest.
Watch
Okay.
anything with Forrest Whitaker in it. I love him.
So the last so yesterday I watched 2 movies, right? In the last 24 hours. I watched a movie called American Skin. American Skin is the same writer and I guess director as what was it, Birth of a Nation. His name escapes me now. But it's an excellent movie. I won't tell the story, but the
Old flick though.
huh?
It's old flick.
No, this is new.
I do.
Isn't Birth? Oh, I'm thinking Birth of Nation.
Birth of a Nation was
Yeah,
originally obviously that old propaganda movie that
yeah.
depicted black people as, you know, we know. But the new Birth of a Nation was based kind of like on the life of Nat Turner. I believe.
Yeah.
So that same lead and that same director did a movie called American Skin. The premise is him and his young son are driving home late at night. Cops pulled him over. The young son has his camera out to record. Cops jumpy, chaos, kid gets killed, and then what happens next? And like even in the trailer, it says like, you know, and part of the thing, he's like, why do we always gotta be nonviolent? Like, why can't we be violent? You know what I'm saying? Why can't we be violent in our approach in that way? And so then the movie progresses in a really rapid, like high intensity, like impact kind of way. And it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, especially for the times and shit.
Timely.
Right with the time. So, you know, I mean, you know, it's like, whoa, something to think about.
Is it Nate Parker?
Yes, Nate Parker for sure. Yeah. Really good job. I think Spike Lee has something to do with it as well.
I have it, Guru. You have
Message
I didn't want to say it.
director.
I was just
What is this, Jeopardy?
thinking
You're
that.
supposed to be spitting facts, Guru.
Is this a podcast about art and music, or is this a podcast about facts?
So Tame knows. Like, Alex, what's your title?
No, is my title.
What does that mean?
I research things. I like run the background a little bit. I make sure everybody's kind of all on the same
Perfect.
page.
Now you see what I mean about like how like
I'm sorry.
my shit don't be running the same, man. But it's all right. I love you guys.
That's what keeps the ship tight. That's all.
So that's one, and then
Hey, I meant to ask you a question. You left-handed?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I already know. But go ahead, don't worry about it.
How'd you know that?
His mannerisms. I'm left-handed. We're the greatest. So
Damn, you got ESPN, bro.
What?
Oh, man. Told you.
I peeped his mannerisms. So anytime he moves, he always moves with the left first. He's gonna do it with the right now because self-conscious. But you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Blown away. Unbelievable.
That was a good one.
So that was a great one.
That was
So
a good one.
that was one,
Bro.
and then the second one is MLK FBI. And I don't know if you guys know, but they recently released all the FBI files that J. Edgar Hoover was recording and like, you know what I mean, like spying on MLK when he was in hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff, and is bugging everybody's phone and like really like trying to like ruin this man's life for the sole purpose that he was black and trying to like, you know what I mean, change some shit. You know what I'm saying? And they just released those files. So there's a documentary that just came out. Jeffrey Lurie was the executive producer. That's part of the reason why I was curious about it, because he owns the Eagles, and it's like, you know what I mean? So, but it was really good. I would check it out. You know what I mean? It's very high on information, and also some of the footage that they were showing, like it was like some stuff that I had never seen before. In that kind of like, you know, light and clarity. So that's the second one.
Did it kind of reinforce what we know about what happened, or was it wilder than? Does it reveal a lot more? Like,
I think it does reveal a lot more, especially like in terms of like timing, in terms of like his mood in certain times. Like, you know, you're hearing all the stuff that's happening at this particular time when he's doing his speech or when he's getting the Nobel Peace Prize, and it's like, you can see his mood is like, it's like, yes, this is awesome, but it's like, it's other things, you know what I'm saying?
Behind the scenes, like, something else was heavy.
Yeah, it's like, for me, it was like, yo, to know what was going on at the time when he was doing all these monumental things, and like, it's like, you got this dude just trying to like end you. You know what I'm saying? Like literally like sending tapes to your wife and to your office, like kill yourself, literally. So, and this is coming from like, you know what I mean, J. Edgar Hoover. So they just released those. And in 2027, like the actual audio will get released, which is like, kind of like, you know, kind of the good and bad, like some stuff that you might not want to hear, but then at the same time, it's like, you know, whatever. But two awesome movies.
But nobody asked me, Mom, I didn't get a chance to go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And now that you went with all these like deep, insightful movies, I'm embarrassed to say mine.
No, come on.
There's no black people in it. I mean, the one person in it, maybe he has like 10 lines. And, you know, but does anybody like Meryl Streep? Anybody?
I love Meryl Streep.
Me too. I love Meryl Streep. Anyway, it's just on HBO Max. Let them all talk. It's about an author, and she goes on a transatlantic boat ride.
Okay.
And there's folly on the boat, and comedies of errors, and you know, it was just a real delight. And
I mean, who doesn't like folly?
It's like it's a feel good glass of wine kind of movie.
It was. That's exactly what I said.
Crackers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, some bag of chips or something. It's just laughing.
You know, it's got some little rom-com attributes. I love a rom-com, so you know.
All right. And what was that again?
It was called Let Them Talk. Meryl Streep on HBO Max. If you're looking for a light something, there's no black people though, so don't go in high expectations.
Hey, we can't be everywhere. I had to cut that. That's horrible. So
we can. Okay.
So Tame, we do have segments in our show, as loose as it could be. And one of our segments is with Mike. It's called Over a Drink, and I'm going to pass you the mic and take it from here.
Tame, what up, bro? It's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Man.
Over a Drink started as an interview series I was doing when before COVID. And then once COVID hit, we brought it in. And what it was is we pour a drink, we rap till the drink is done. That's how I rap. That went. I got to know you. We talked about whatever, right? But since we couldn't be in person, what I try to do is I try to find a drink that I think represents, this has been my thing, represents the person that I'm about to talk to, even though I have absolutely no clue 99.9% of the time who these people are, right?
I can't wait.
So, but I went on your page, right? And with the stuff that Dame told me and with Yaya and these cats was telling me about you, man, and your graffiti history and all that. And then I went onto your page and I was scrolling through some of your work and I'm like, okay, his work is kind of dope. And then I stumbled onto your For the Culture joint on your IG. And I was driving, so I couldn't really look at it. So I just like skimmed through just to like hear what you was talking about. And there was this dude, I don't even know who he was, real skinny, drawn in face dude. My man, Supper described as the starving artist, but not because they don't get work, it's because they're always working. So they look like they're not eating. So he, you know, and he started talking about B Street and Wild Style and
cyanide right there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. And he was like, you know, teaching art history and bringing graffiti into the room. And then he started talking about, you know, he was talking about all of the hip hop history and graph history. So I'm like, listen, man, I'm about to sit down and we're gonna have a little hip hop conversation. Like, and you was like, yeah, that's right. Tell him, like you was testifying. So I figured, you know, I might as well go to the corner store.
Oh, my man. Hell yeah. Fucking right. Yes. Yes. Meanwhile, I'm drinking this bullshit. I'm drinking the cider.
I love it. To Hennessy Yaya. OE Mike.
OE Mike. That's the new name, y'all. OE Mike.
I can't drink this shit, man. I can't drink this shit.
Oh, it's open now, man.
You gotta drink that.
I got the hand rock.
Yo, this is what you do, though. This is what the homies used to do in New York back in the day. They'll take a swig out of the OE and pour some Henny in it.
Yeah,
that's that Project Jungle.
Oh,
let's go, Mike.
My daughter's downstairs.
Don't matter. How old is she?
Don't matter.
His daughter's
how old is
grown,
she?
Tame.
Nah, I thought like 17.
Oh, bro, dude, past four years old, they take care of themselves.
Yo, so I said, man, I'm gonna bring out some. He looked like he might have threw back a couple cans of OE in his day, man. So
we did bottles, but
I was gonna get a bottle. I was gonna get it, but you know what it is? They don't got glass 40 ounces anymore.
Yeah, plastic is horrible.
They're plastic,
and it's 42 now. It's weird.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not buying that. That's corny. Like, and then they had like the 22-ounce glass bottle, but with the little tiny neck. I was like, that's cornball.
Hey, Jason, when was the last time you bought a 40 ounce?
In my West Philly days, we definitely drank some 40 ounces.
Okay.
Last week.
He said last week. So, Tame, man, tell me, man, just for cats like me who don't know who you are, man, just give us a little brief overview, a little background of who Tame is, the graph work. Apparently, you do cooking, like before the 17-year-old kid came.
Yo, man, let me see. Yeah, I'm a regular dude, man, who you know, takes pride in being a hip hop ambassador. Let's just say it like that. I'm a fan of hip hop first. So I'm a fan of people to push the culture forward. That's why I always tell Yaya and Dame and the rest of you guys who I've gotten a chance to meet, you know, proud of you guys, one, for what you guys do. So with me, I just try to do, you know, my part of the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? I feel like when it comes to hip hop, man, we all have like this responsibility. So I like to, I guess for myself, I guess if I was to describe myself, like to think of myself as somebody that takes responsibility within the hip hop realm. You know, it's funny, that same interview you're talking about for the culture, me and Sai and I were talking, and we were talking about how, like, when people ask certain individuals what is their top 10 hip hop artists, I said, I've never heard a list as quiet as mine or Cyanide. And that's not knocking everybody else, but usually the list consists of just MCs. My list consists of every element of hip hop. And I think that's what I try to bring. I'm a father first. I'm a husband first. Family man. I love graph, man. I love, putting things together to showcase other individuals. Love to give people a platform so they could grow. You know what I mean? If I could help out in any way, that's part of like that responsibility, right? Like you realize you're blessed and you've gotten to a certain point where you're known or acknowledged, or whatever the case may be. So what next, right? Like you got to keep that in the tuck and be like, yeah, I'm this fucking Tame, whatever. But that's all depending on what room you're in, bro. I walk into rooms where motherfuckers have no idea who I am. You know what I mean? And they could go to another place where like, oh, but I'm just regular dude. So, it's funny thinking about yesterday, Martin Luther King and all the amazing things he did for service. Yesterday was the first time, and again, just being real, yesterday was the first time that I went out on that day to do something of service. And I was invited to go into the school to do like help out with this mural. And I'm there, and it was awkward for me because everybody's like, oh, yo, you're here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, yo, the shit has nothing to do with me. Like today is about MLK, right? Like we're all here. Like you're here too, my G. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all here. So it was kind of refreshing, and it's also awesome to kind of like share those things because I think people have a different perspective. You know what I mean? Like you meet, I always say, man, there's some graph legends I wish I never met. Because the perspective changed. Like I realized how much of assholes and like self-centered, egoistic motherfuckers could be. You know what I mean? And that goes in the hip hop, like in the full spectrum. You know what I mean?
It's part of the culture.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm just a humble pop husband, cook, artist that likes to, hang out with cool people, man, and do cool things, I guess.
So what was
and I collect sneakers.
And you collect sneakers. Oh yeah, I see you talking about the sneakers with Seppa.
Yes.
Yeah, I caught that one too. So what was your draw to graffiti though, man? Like, what was your first piece that you put up and you stepped back and you was like, yo, this is my lane?
Okay. That's two questions.
Yeah, that's two questions. Right. I'm getting greedy because they ain't gonna cut me off soon, so I'm gonna.
Nah. I gotta be fast. So mind you, I'm Puerto Rican, so we talk a lot, but I'm gonna cut it short. I'm cut it. So first question, what drew me to graffiti? So art in general, my mother used to draw since I was a little kid. So art was really inspired by her. I was born in Puerto Rico, so the colors, everything, just always been inspiring. Moved to Philadelphia, very early age. And I was blessed to go to work during the weekends with my dad. Like he'll just bring me like, come on, you're gonna learn some shit. And his partner at work was the legendary Delta. And mad houses in North Philly have tags behind.
You gotta tell people who Delta is.
Oh, Delta's a god, bro. He is listen, talking hip hop, right? So he's a god, man. He definitely knows all his degrees and all that shit, and just one thorough ass inspirational dude. And not only did he make his mark in the graffiti world in Philadelphia, he took graffiti to the next level. Like all the Stiff Hands, anybody that knows Stiff Hands, and the New York script, he was the person responsible for bringing that into Philly. He goes by Delta, aka Curse. So that was him. Del would write behind sheetrocks before him and my dad would put it up. I'm sitting there as a young buck and I'm looking like, what the fuck is he doing? Why is he doing this? And during the little break, we'll sit on the stoop and he'll have a black book. It was a wrap after that. As soon as I saw that, it was a wrap. So my first piece was on Hope Street, where they would do their little thing like a Hope and Burks. And my first piece was like right around Hope and Burks. It wasn't nothing extravagant. It was probably the worst shit you've ever seen, but it was my shit. So it was like, wow, I put it on the wall. So it was like, it was cool. But the most humbling piece for me, I think I would have to say, was when I painted in Puerto Rico. It's just going back to the island and being able to like kind of leave my mark. Excuse me, as an adult, it was like, wow, this is dope. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, and I'm gonna throw it back to you after this thing.
Okay.
All right. So since like doing graph, man, you're writing on somebody else's property, but you're practicing and honing your craft in the process, right? So what would you advise a parent, now that you're a parent, if they had a kid who wanted to do graph, man? Like, what would you say? What if your son came to you and was like, yo, Pop, man, I'm about to go get up on this wall, man?
So, yo, it's funny, man. So I think all graffiti artists have a similar story, you know, or a similar origin story, per se. And then certain people take different routes, right? So for me, you know, you'll never see me claim I'm a king of this, I'm a king of that. You know, again, you coming from New York, you understand, learning about the degrees and the gods, you know, of the earth. It's like, I learned that those things are for like men, you know what I'm saying? So, and again, it's just, yeah, I'm just kicking some knowledge, like as far as what hip hop is. So for me I will get up around the same neighborhood I grew up in. And then when I had the ties to New York, which was very early on, I started learning the degrees. I started learning the knowledge. I started hanging out with the Zulu. And that's when I got into TNS and all that at an early age, and understanding that you didn't have to do all this getting up and all this damage to make a name for yourself. Now, you ask, what would I say to new people that's coming into the thing? Again, this is my truth, you know what I mean? Because certain individuals be like, oh, yo, that's law. Nah, I'm not saying that's law. Do what you do. One, practice, my G, because a lot of people's putting up bullshit on the walls. Like, I don't give a fuck if you put up 100 tags. If they bullshit, they bullshit. You just smear diarrhea all down the block. You know what I'm saying? Real.
You talk that shit.
So a lot of people's like, quantity, relax, practice, getting them books. I was blessed. I was fortunate enough to get into trouble very early on, tagging, that my dad and my mom, they were like, yo, fuck up your room. Like, fuck up your room, practice in your room.
Really?
Of course, I did both, but it was like, it allowed me to vent in the most comfortable space that I had without any judgment. So it's funny, me and my wife always talk about, like, when her and I first got together and she walked into my room, she was like, what the fuck is this? What is this?
We got another guy on the show, you walking in his room, you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it felt like you walking into a dark alley. But that aspect allowed me to grow, allowed me to try new things that I think certain people are scared to try because they're so focused on, let me make sure Dame sees what I'm doing here. Or so you don't get a chance to grow. That's why you notice a lot of people that, unfortunately, even in Philly, because Philly's a bombing city. So Philly's like one of the only cities that's very prominent into bombing, right? So a lot of individuals in Philly don't allow themselves to evolve past the tagging phase. And that's because every other graffiti artist is looking for the next tag. So you're no longer doing or being true to self, right? Like knowledge of self. You're more worried about knowledge for Dame, knowledge for Mike, Eric. Like, so it's hard to evolve in an atmosphere where you're keeping yourself contained. So yeah, practice. That's why I would tell people, man, practice. Practice on some books before you put some bullshit up. Because this shit out here is not pretty.
And on that note, man, over a drink, that's how we do it, man. And listen, I know I brought the old gold to the party, man, but listen.
You gotta take a swig of that, man.
You know what I mean? We're closing out with a drink of old gold. Should I guzzle it? Should I take it back? Take it back?
Come on, man. Hey, yo, if you could guzzle that,
no way, no how, brother.
That's fun, Dad. That's fun, Dad.
Come on, what Corona do, man?
Woo!
Oh, Mike.
It's been a long time, man. Yo, man, I didn't even know where to buy this joint. That's how bad it is. I've been in the suburbs.
Come on, Mike.
I was like, yo, man, where get an old gold at?
Man,
How do you look at you like, come on, man?
Yeah.
Yo, so
I had to go to Mount Airy to get it. Get it up there.
My head hurts.
So
you had to go. I can't.
So that was awesome, man. Like I think, and I'm ready to keep going in.
All right, I'm gonna toss it back to Dave.
That's the second time we tossed it back. That shit is working. He tossed it back twice. I love it. Yeah, man.
Yo. So we going like before we get deeper, you know what I'm saying, into Tame. That don't sound right. But,
bro.
Yeah, man. We're not. But hey, man, we're done. We can edit that. That's gonna be.
Don't worry about it.
Jason, you already know what part. You already know the part. You know the part. Yup. Just continue laughing, and it's gonna just like, you know what I mean?
I'm sorry.
So
I'm back.
I think it's to take a break from the heated discussion. We're gonna just let's talk about music, and which is another form of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? We talking about 2 Chainz today. I think everybody got a chance to listen to 2 Chainz.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've been a 2 Chainz fan quietly. Not quietly, like I don't give a fuck. I like 2 Chainz. I'm not quietly a 2 Chainz fan, but I'm a fan of 2 Chainz. I think he delivers every time. I think he's one of the most underrated lyricists that's out right now. I think he puts out quality music, and so I was excited to like get into it with y'all and see what y'all think, without my biased, obviously, opinion. But the album. Let's get into it, Jason. Let's talk about it.
We'll talk about 2 Chainz. So I enjoyed the album. I also am a fan of 2 Chainz. Daniel San Necklace Don, I listened to a bunch. I listened to his you hear enough, actually with this one, you hear enough singles, even this one, like by the time I listened to the album this week, I had already heard 4 of the songs and like knew the videos already. Cause like,
and I'm sorry, I didn't even mention the album's name. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
That's horrible. You know what I'm saying? So help me God. No disrespect. So help me God, the album.
So help me God. Yeah. So it was good. I mean, some of the production was, to me, I don't think it was the best 2 Chainz album, like some of the production felt a little generic in like its new trappiness, but I like some of the more like creative ones, like the Kanye song was like trippy. It was beautiful.
Woo!
Song, I Can't Go For That was great. Like that was a great flip. And also my like I don't know, my like one that wasn't, I guess, that much of a hit was Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Really like that, and the video is hilarious. So
look at the video.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and there was a few songs that weren't, like it was a full album, so not everything was awesome, but like there were so many good songs. That was good.
Mike, what do you think?
All right.
Ooh, let's go.
No. This is good. Like,
okay.
2 Chainz never really appealed to me, right? And it was because like you just said, that corny trappiness, like it's just too much trap music. And when he hit me, it was just another trap artist. So I never really gave him a shot.
Okay.
He's from Atlanta, though, bro.
I don't care where he's from. It doesn't matter. Like,
original.
2 Chainz kind of was like before that trap wave really hit. He just kind of established himself before that shit.
Listen,
Mike's opinion, guys.
Okay. All right, you're right.
Like, you gotta hold on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I got onto him, like what was he at the birthday joint?
Whoa! So you missed. I
didn't know anything before that.
You missed Duffel Bag Boy.
Duffel Bag Boy, like with Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 Chainz was on that.
Yeah.
And then the Kanye joint.
I don't know.
That was his group.
Listen to me, man.
Okay, I'm not asking. I'm not judging.
I didn't listen, man. Like if you had an accent, it was hard for me to listen to you.
I got it.
You saw my text message. It was like, was it 2 Chainz or who?
Correct, or whoever the other guy was. Like this trap.
Yeah, that's like.
The whole trap music movement was like, it was after me. Like, it's not my lane.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so 2 Chainz was just another trap music artist. That's what he was.
All right. So
then, hold on now. Let me give you my opinion.
He's on that old age, so he better.
Yeah, he about to get aggressive.
I thought you had a segment.
What are you gonna do? It goes from old English to hen rock. Like either way, it's a situation. Right?
He's taking the table.
He got an 8-ball jacket on the background.
Hey, Mike, I need you to calm down. You got the women's, you know what I'm saying, the millions man women's bar
yeah.
Calm down, man. That's all.
You know what I mean? But for real though, right? But then I got turned on to his TV show, Most Expensive.
Yes.
And I was like, yo, I like this dude's character. Like I like his energy, I like his vibe, so then that was really my introduction to 2 Chainz.
Okay. Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So then his music was kind of like, he was almost like a jokey kind of trappy kind of, almost like a Redman kind of energy to me.
Okay.
Right? Like he's got good punchlines, he's got slick talk, he's got, you know what I'm saying? So he had like a southern trappy Redman vibe for me.
You know all this, but you weren't a fan, you know.
No, I got that after listening to the album.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. So when I listened to the album, I'm like, yo, like I didn't want to care for it. But then like I realized like 80% into the album, I'm like, yo, this ain't as bad as I anticipated it would be.
Okay.
It's actually pretty good. The dude is talented. So I say all that to say that it passed, man. I like the album, man. I like it. I like that joint that he got, what's it called? Gray Area?
Mm-hmm.
We say I'm not old enough to sleep with your Grammy, but I'm a hitter for these Annies. I'm a hitter for these Annies. I can sleep with your auntie and your sister, but your granny, I'm gonna get her for these Annies. Like, you know, I'm like, okay. He's like the top of the food chain in the trap music lane.
That was
this is about, right?
That was the most Hennessy and Old English answer I've heard.
No, but overall, I like the album. I like the Quarantine Thick. I caught that video.
He knows songs.
You know, like me and my wife, we was dancing to Quarantine Thick for New Year.
I would have never thought you liked it from the way it started. All right, Mike.
I really did, man. I was surprised how much I like the album, because a lot of these, you know, these trap artists, man, I get 2 songs and I'm gone. Like it's just too much. It's the same shit on every song.
Eric, how about you?
I mean, I obviously loved it.
Oh, you loved it.
Obviously
recommended it. This was
he recommended it.
So I don't know. I've been like, I was a T.I. fan when I was younger. You know what I mean? And you know, some of that early stuff was not as like production wise, and he didn't explore as much as he did like later on. The King album was like, I really love that album. And this shit kind of makes me feel like that shit did. It's like anthemic, you know what I mean? It feels like a bunch of like different styles of the, like through the time of trap music, you know, unlike Mike's belief, you know what I mean? It's a little older than he thinks, you know what I mean? So I think like, you know, production wise, I think it like really lived up to some hype for me. You know what I mean? I really loved it.
No, I felt the same way about T.I. as I felt about 2 Chainz. So it's funny that you compared the two.
Makes sense.
Like I didn't really care for T.I. I liked a couple singles, but I didn't care for him until I seen him on VH1.
Tame, what'd you think?
Yo, so it's funny, like what he just mentioned about VH1. So I learned about 2 Chainz, I mean, a long time ago. The new album, I'll be honest, I haven't heard it, right? And I'm not a huge fan of his music, but I'm a huge fan of him. I'm gonna tell you why. I remember, I forget the name of the group, but he used to be signed to Ludacris, and his name was Titty Boy.
Yeah, it was Players Circle.
Yeah, and I remember reading an interview where he gave an interview, and one of the things with me, man, I love when people have like confidence in themselves. Like it doesn't matter what it is, right? And they asked him where did the name come from, and you know, his answer was like the best answer ever for me, because it was like, yo, so growing up in Atlanta, when you're close to your mom, you know, they say you attached to the boob, right? So he was like, everybody in the area used to call him Titty Boy because he would run back to his mom at all times. But he was like, the name stuck. And he said when he signed to Luda, Luda, you know, asked like, you know, the names or whatever, and he said Titty Boy. Luda was just like, it's your name, like whatever, like, you know what I mean? And I just thought, yeah, but I just thought at that moment when I heard that, I'm like, yo, this dude, like, it don't matter. He's so comfortable in himself.
Yeah,
it's gonna work. And then now, because I do feel that, like, when people, if you look even in history, people that are comfortable within themselves, they find a way, because you can't make it wait for them. They gonna make it for themselves because they're comfortable with themselves.
I'll add on to that, and I'll pass it on to Jason and Alex. Right, what I always get from 2 Chainz, just to add on to that, is that like he's at his own pace. It's like you can't rush him. Like you got to like digest what he's giving, how he's, you know what I'm saying, at his pace. And
you're gonna take it how he gives it to you.
Yes. And when you like, you know, like Mike might be like, oh, it sounds like trappy. I get it because of the 808s and all that, right? But when you like can like lock into like his delivery and his pace, like it actually moves.
You're right.
You move differently to it.
That's what it took for me to listen to it in the car, and for me to really separate him lyrically from the music, almost from the track, and for me to rock with what he was saying and listening to what he was saying. I was like, yo, the dude, like
after like 2 verses,
pretty good. Like
after 2 verses in a song, it's like, oh, you catch it, and it's like, oh, I see where this is going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then everything else works and shit. The music works better.
Dad, you were dead on with his confidence. Like his
man. He had his
dude, and in the show, you see it in the show. It's not pushy. He's not really. Yeah, of course, there's some acting, right? It's a fucking show.
Yeah.
But you could tell that it's just him. Like,
it's genuine.
He gets excited over the fork that he saw. It's like, yo, this fucking fork is $100,000. Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, it's genuine. It is like, that's what I like.
I think that was my draw to him. Like, I don't like when cats put on, and I'm like, yo, this dude ain't really putting on. Like, this is like he like a regular dude. He just, you know,
I'm just excited. Let the world know.
Him. Yeah.
I also saw him live, and he had a broken leg, and he performed in a wheelchair. And like Jason, what'd you think?
Awesome. Yo, shout outs to you for paying to see him live, though. Like,
I didn't pay, so
all right.
But it was worth it. It was worth it.
Oh, Jason, what'd you think? Like now the truth comes out, right?
I started out. I liked it.
That's right. I just did a mic. I'm on that.
You gotta stop drinking you gotta stop smoking drinks.
I will add on though that
drinks and you're drifting.
I have found one of the reasons I'm a fan of 2 Chainz is I find his confidence inspiring. And there's some songs that I listen to of his that I find to be inspiring. Like he has this message of like, I made it out, you know, and like, you know, like I don't know, like the confidence is there. Like that's why I like listening to it.
Alex.
I really enjoyed it. Like I've always enjoyed Titty Boy, but I feel like I'm real happy that he stayed as consistent to himself. Like the old stuff's good, but he's like very much in his own syrup pause, like, you know. So I'm glad that this is living up to his like legacy for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. He got a Lambo on his wrist, man.
Got a Lambo on my wrist.
Yeah.
Yo, Jason.
I also like the theme of like him not having good Wi-Fi because you live in the woods. It's like just that.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I loved it. You guys know I'm listening to it throughout my workout, so it definitely was a motivator. But Tame and I had listened to it before, just like smoking a blunt, you know, on Kelly Drive, and we were like going off on it then. So I was so glad that Eric brought it back. I texted Dave like, didn't we already listen to this? And he was like, no, we already listened to it. So I've been listening to it all week, and I just, you know, it came through for me. It was a tough week for me, so it was really motivational and inspirational on that point. And I love it when music can do that for me. So I was happy with it.
Yeah.
It held me for almost the whole album, and that's rare. I check
One thing that jumped out at me, he raps a few times about people around him dying and having to pay for funerals.
Yeah.
The one time he's even like, I don't know who he's talking about, but he's like, you know, you're such a G, you didn't even save for your own funeral when you died. And he's like, you know, it's kind of shows you what he's going through with the people around him.
I love your statement, how you said, I have no idea what he's talking about, but then you break it down. Yeah. You actually know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I listened a few times. But there's another thing you say about pace with him. He's a little slower with the bars too, so you can actually think about shit. There's not just tons of bars flying by you, like
you can catch what he's saying while you in the groove. Yeah,
this is the new adult contemporary.
Yeah, all right. So 2 Chainz is good with me, man. I'm glad I liked it.
Yes. I feel like this is one of the first ones where we've all like really agreed and really liked it.
Yeah, finally.
Finally, he gonna do
So Tame, I think an appropriate question, like, right? This is hip hop, and you know, where'd you get your name from? Why Tame? Like, you know, I'm gonna tell you, I've been through I've been through a lot of things in hip hop. Like, you know, I was a dancer, I was a rapper, I was a and I'm a producer. And you know what? I can never decide on like a name for myself ever.
Dame works.
Dame
works.
Some of us just gotta be who we are, Dame.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this was the time when you had to have it. You know what I mean? It was like you need a name. It was like everybody had a name. It was like I never could pick a name. You know, so why Tame? How'd you pick that name? Where'd it come from?
So Tame was my second name. It's my second name actually.
Let's go. What's the first?
I'm about to hit you guys. Eric, Yaya, and y'all know me. My height. I'm not the tallest, but I got a big heart, right? So listen to this. So when I was younger, when I was like a preteen and all that, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to the NBA and being like a fucking first Puerto Rican 6'2", whatever. I'm 5'5", y'all. So just but my ID says 5'7", so you know what I mean.
Nice play.
Yeah. So my first name was Hoops. I was always with a basketball and shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Woody Hoops. And Delta was the one that was like, yo, you cannot tag that name. And I was like, no, man, I'm Hootie Hoops, dog. And he was the one that gave me Tame.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's crazy because for me, it was like honor. Like, you know, that was my mentor. That's who got me into the game. And then he gave me the name. And then around the neighborhood, everybody, you know, or during that era, everybody that had a name had acronyms for their name. It was like, you know, killer this, I stab a nigga, all this shit, right? And I was like, yeah, Tame, terrorizing all my enemies.
Oh,
and if you look at my whole history, I never terrorized a soul. So it just shows you that phase of ignorance, right? I remember, you know, wife and I got together, and you know, shortly after we got pregnant with our oldest, and it was just like time for change. And I had been stopped using the acronym terrorizing all my enemies, but that was like the only thing that I had created with Tame. And as you grow, you know, you get older and you start figuring things out in a different way. And I'm like, yo, one thing all humans should do in whatever art form they're in, right? Because, you know, some might argue that even life is an art form, right? So it's like true art must evolve. And that's where I came up with the acronym of true art must evolve. So I feel like if you're true to that art, and that one, I could feel like, you know, I could say that shit with my chest out and be proud of it. Because, you know, the other one is always funny to me. Like when people are like, yo, what was the first acronym? Terrorizing on my enemies.
But even going from that to this, that was your evolution.
Yeah, your acronym evolved.
You know what I'm saying? The names were evolution. The acronyms were evolutions of you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
yeah.
Whoa. Terrorizing all my enemies.
Yeah.
Transform to
true art.
Must evolve.
Yep.
Amazing.
Man, that actually left me speechless a little bit. Like,
oh man, thank you, brother.
Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? This is monumental. So happy to have you here.
I mean, I'm happy to be here, man. As soon as y'all told me, I was like, what? Yeah. Again, man, I love being around good people. And again, I think very highly of you guys. So it was just, the feeling is super mutual, yo.
Well, I don't think we can get out of here without at least talking about TNS and this legendary crew you're a part of. And so first, how do you get down? You know what I'm saying? Second, like tell us about TNS and where it started and where it's evolved to.
So I'll try to answer that like backwards with the last question first, just to kind of. So TNS was formed in the Lower East Side in Baruch Projects. You from New York, if you know where the amphitheater is, the famous amphitheater where like all of the first hip hop. All of the first hip hop events in history were done there. That's like right across the street is Baruch Projects. In 1976 was when TNS was first formed by Supreme Soul and EL3. May he rest in peace. Everlast was his tag name. To kind of give you like just like a quick story of how true they were to this lifestyle. EL3 passed away actually stepping on the third rail. We all hear it. You know, don't step on the third rail. He was actually the reason why they do the cover now on the third rail of the trains, because him running away after doing a train, stepped on the third rail and passed away. Damn. And that was in 84. So if you look, in 85 was when they passed the regulations of covering the third rail. TNS, the Nasty Squad, is what it stands for. You know, the Native Souls. So it was just like, it was a group of brothers during the 70s where it was like predominantly Boricua and Black. And the whole idea was like looking out for each other. We all come from the same struggles in one way or another. And in New York, during that time, it was like a time of disparity. You know what I mean? In the early times of hip hop, like a lot of like supers, supers is like the superintendent of the buildings. They would light the buildings on fire to collect, insurance money. Yeah. So a lot of families was getting displaced and things of that nature. So, as creative as we are, as Black and brown people, we got together and did parties at the park and different things, and people got together to feed families. When you look at the origins of barbecues, they were actually, as far as up north, they were done in a way to serve a community. You know what I mean? You think about like the Black Panthers and the Young Lords, there was members of both. They were also part of TNS. So it started really as a protective group of like, you fuck with us, we the Nasty Squad, like you can't fuck with our people, our family, our roots, our culture. You know what I mean? During that time, there was a graffiti writer by the name of Min One. Min was fucking the trains up. White dude. You guys could see him on Star Wars and B Street and all that. This dude put a hell of a mark on the trains, and he actually became an ally with TNS because he knew the ways around the train. During that time, especially racism was still it's crazy to say at an all-time high because I feel like it is right now, you know what I mean? But during those times in New York, it was like different. So having a white kid, guide, Puerto Ricans and Blacks through a train is different than them going by themselves. You see what I'm saying? And he's still alive, man. He's been incredible to the hip hop culture and to the graffiti culture and as a whole. And he was able to, through him, we expanded TNS to different boroughs. You know what I mean? For me, the early 2000s, I met my later mentor, which is Van. Van is a graffiti legend, has over 3,500 trains under his belt. Like this dude worldwide, this dude his brother's incredible. He's actually, which this might shock all of you guys, he's actually the older brother to Method Man.
What?
Yeah, Renard Kelly. Yeah, Renard Kelly is incredible. I'm telling you, incredible dude. Amazing. He put me on you know, to TNS. So he was the one that brought me in. I met So's Puerto Rican, so me and So clicked off of just the culture itself, like as far as our roots. And then it was like realizing all the impacts of like how much TNS has been in the culture. So you look at Star Wars, the spot when they go to the bench, you know what I mean? Like the famous bench in Harlem. And when they first get to the scene and you see them scroll like that with the camera, that's So holding the book and tagging us as So TNS on the movie. This is in 1982 when that movie was filmed. It was released in 84. Grandmaster Cass, just to give you guys kind of an idea, Grandmaster Cass is TNS. Crazy Legs is TNS. The whole Tats crew, so that means Terror Squad is TNS. You mentioned Low Life, Vic Low. You know, my big brother Vic Low, Thurston Howe. That's how I got put into Low Life. He's TNS. Yeah, man. I mean, it's, you know, the roots is crazy. And then also, if you guys all do your little Google searches, you Google Keith Haring, TNS, and his first partner was a TNS member that actually
Eric Boss, like extremely happy.
Yeah. Me and him have had this conversation before.
Yeah,
he knows.
Yep.
We actually, as a collective, because at that time, then it started getting crazy, where it's like now, you know, if you were Rican and Black, you were safe. If you was white in the Lower East Side, you weren't safe. And that's where Keith Haring came in. So it was like, he came in. So actually Supreme So and EL3 took him under his wing to keep him safe because they liked what he was doing. So a lot of the early day Keith Harings, if you look it up, he has TNS all up on his paintings and shit like that. So yeah, I've shown Eric. He knows.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Your random question. What was the last thing that like made you bust out laughing?
The last thing that made me bust out laughing. That's a good one. Hold on. We're always laughing in this house, man, because people are fucking crazy in here. I think it was my youngest. So recently my youngest, he's 13, and he's like 13 going on 40, like grown ass man. Actually has the deepest voice in the house. Crazy. Imagine disciplining your son. He's 13 and his voice deeper than you. It's crazy. But we were at a tournament this last week. He the Smash Bros or whatever the fuck. Took him to a tournament. It was at a brewery. I had beer. He had games. It was good. You know what I mean? But we were just laughing because somebody said this fucking some app called Discord or Distort or whatever.
Discord, yeah.
Yeah, that shit. And I guess he'd be on their servers. I guess I don't know nothing about this, but
you got it, Dad.
I got this. So he'd be on there. So sometimes they like have conversations, and somebody said something along the lines like, "Who's BZ God?" That's his name too, BZ God, right? So they're like, "Who's BZ God?" And then somebody said,
"At 13, he talking mad shit."
Yeah, you talking mad shit, yeah. So somebody on there said they think it's Will's nephew. So Will is like the guy that runs the server. And they said that they're telling me this in person. And then they say, out of nowhere, BZ God gets on and he says, "I'm not his nephew." So I just thought that shit was so funny. Like, I'm like, I can see my son as my son all day. Like, nigga, I don't know you.
Mike, what was the last thing that made you bust out laughing?
Man, bust out laughing. I don't know, man. I'm like Tame, man. We laugh a lot.
Yeah. What last thing made you bust out laughing?
For me, it's always the kids. You guys know I laugh a lot. So my son, and I don't know if this is good or bad, but he really does great impressions. And
I love it.
He, you know, we gossip about his classmates, like that's our thing. And he'll be like, "Oh my God, Mom, you have to," you know, and he just comes in and he does an impression for me through the day. And I just crack up. That's my guy. So it's always the kids.
Always the kids, man. I'm sure it was something slick my daughter said to me.
Yeah, they do this.
So she's 17, so what I'm gonna do, right? You know what I'm saying? When you got daughters and you the dude, like they can talk to me any way they want to talk to me. So the only thing I could do is chuckle and laugh at them. Be like, "Yo, like I can't believe that the universe put me in this space to allow women to talk to me like this."
You know what I mean? Jason, what was
Also, my kid, we were playing today at lunch. She has this zoo in her room with little things, and all the animals got out and just ate everyone. And Alex normally isn't like into that kind of like violent stuff, but she thought it was so funny.
Alex.
Probably, I mean, we're always doing dumb shit at fucking work, so probably something dumb at work, or my friend that I'm seeing currently is also super hilarious. So
tell us about it, man.
Loud as fuck, laughing all the time. So
it is 5 o'clock, Dave.
Girlfriend?
Take that for next one.
Nobody can remember the last what you guys don't come through for me, man.
I mean,
y'all doing this.
You really gonna get
have it? They be ready.
Oh, we had answers.
All right, go.
Mine's inappropriate. I'm sorry.
Come on, man, come through. Let's go, Eric.
I can't. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I really can't.
Wow.
Damn. I wish I could, but I
really can't. I thought maybe Alex was going to say it, but I just can't.
What was yours, Dave?
Yo, I definitely laughed harder after that, but that also is super funny.
They both know. It's inside joke.
Inside. They got an inside thing.
Yeah.
I wish.
All right. Huh?
Who was yours?
Yeah. Well,
every time I see that commercial,
you laughing thinking about it.
What is it?
It's the most random thing. I could.
Which one is it? Is it like an insurance commercial? Because insurance commercials crack me up.
Yeah,
we just bought this new house. We just have an ant problem, and it's all.
Clean your dishes.
Ooh, baby, I got Popeyes. Popeye do the blue thing, the chicken. Oh my God! Every time I see it, it makes me laugh. He's like, he comes in the door and he's like, "Baby, I got Popeyes." And he's like singing his heart out. But then I saw that it's a longer video when he's like breaking down the biscuits and all the other.
Too much.
Yeah.
Oh, I got an answer for you. I was cracking up at all the Junebug challenge shit. What's his name? Like June Light or whatever his name is, the dude that does the Junebug challenge. So the one was the dude, like he hopped on top of that cop SUV and was doing the dance and shit. Yeah, I don't know. That shit was funny. I was cracking up. There's a bunch of them like on the dude's page.
Hey, I got a question for Tame, man. Can I ask a question, Dane?
I mean, yeah, we're going over. Let's go.
I know. It's a quick one. This is just. I know. I got work.
It's a conversation, man. Shoot.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. You know what I mean? I got to make sure the host is okay with it. And then Jason put his guitar.
You got now. Okay.
Hey, did you see the was it Netflix? The Get Down? Was it on Netflix? What was that on? Anybody see the Get Down?
I did. I watched a bunch of it. It was
horrible. I thought it was actually one of the best hip hop depictions. Dude, growing up in New York,
I didn't expect it
was great, dude. But the reason I ask you is because the dude who was the graffiti writer in it, the dark-skinned kid. In the beginning, in the early episodes, they like nobody knew who he was. He was like this mysterious dude. They was like, yo, he wear red Pumas all the time, and they showed like a red Puma sliding down a rock, but you never see his face. You know, and the thing was, it's like because earlier you said you never want to meet your idols. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of reminded me of that scene because I remember growing up and seeing all these trains go by and like all the mysterious ideas you had of who these people were. You know what I'm saying?
Superheroes, like, bro.
Yeah, and that's how you looked at him because you're like, yo, man, how did he do that? You see these pieces that take up a whole car or a whole 3 cars of a train, and you're like, how was that even possible for him to find the time and the energy in the middle of the night to pull that off? You know what I mean? So when you said that, it kind of reminded me of that scene, and that scene kind of reminded me of being 12 and 13 and 14 years old in New York City and seeing all that going on at that time, man. So that's all, man. I don't know if that was your question.
There's
no question there, man. It turned into a statement.
Yo, but listen, I'll be short because y'all clocking me, right? So
see, he's got a response though.
No. I'll say this though. I'll say this real quick. When you're talking about the show, if you guys, anybody that's seen the show, there's a part where I'm trying to be fast. You see that, Yaya? There's a part on the show where he's
learning, man.
When they're like in the rubble, and the politician brings the young boy in, and he does the little poem.
Mm-hmm.
Every artist that he mentioned on the poem, and he starts with the Nasty Squad as they travel through the train, and then he starts naming every single like prominent graffiti artist during the 70s and 80s were all TNS.
That's what made the show so dope, man. Because it was all
it was co-executive produced by Nas too.
By Nas and Jizza, like that's because it was all actual hip hop history set into a fictional character. So that's what made
How
it so
about this?
dope.
And I'll leave you guys with this because I know they trying to kick me out, but Busta Rhymes got originally into the whole hip hop scene through graffiti. With that.
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
You writing Busta? What was he writing?
There's a lot of artists who came in that way. There's a lot of artists who came in that way. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It was part of the culture.
Rap, Joey Crack.
You did. You break dancer. You was it was just every.
That was the thing about
Action and Mayhem in them.
Yeah, Fab used to write too. Fabulous.
That's
we used to get down too. Yeah.
I sucked at all of it, man.
Even Black Thought wrote graffiti.
He said, sorry to hear that. Yeah. Oh, that's
there
it.
There it goes.
There you
Yo,
go.
have you seen the ones
on top of it?
Have you seen a comparison with Gilly the Kid? Oh, them shits is
I got it.
Oh, you got to look that up, bro. That's funny.
Well, there's so much more we could talk about. But
a real happy hour.
It's been about an hour, and you know what I mean? The unofficial host, official host, is clocking us because she be out.
Running over 9 minutes after.
Having you here. And this has been an awesome time connecting and learning and just hanging out and chilling. I just want to say thanks. And, appreciate having you.
Oh, man, thank you guys for having me, man. This is really great, man. It was awesome just to sit here and watch you guys interact with each other and myself. It was awesome, seriously. This was great.
So what happens is generally Jason from his some perch in his mansion, because every time he shows up, it's like he's in a different place in his house, and his house looks like it's like 5 stories and with a pool. I guess this is like his
This is the same spot as last week.
That's the Arboretum.
This is green nook.
He's in the Arboretum.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's in my bedroom away from the child. It's my own.
So Jason plays this out. Sometimes it's piano. Sometimes it's guitar. You know what I mean? Take it away, J-Dog.
All right. Peace, y'all.
Was that freestyle? What was that?
Was that
freestyle? Just a little jam,
Oh, jam. All right.
Little jam.